Welcome, everyone, as we are back to broadcasting from our flagship station here at the Gittin Daf in Fairways, Lakewood. And we welcome in, joining us, Saba and Irving Fishbaum, Yitzi Muller, Aaron Swade, Nachman Chaplin, Mark Frankel, Yisrael Fisher, Menachem Yamansky, Mel Zachter, Moshe Lehman, Ilya Shutman, David Helfgott. Here in the shul, we have Berish Gesseman, Gedalia Engel, Moshe Jackman, Avram Schenkman. And thank you, Rabbi Say, for coming and joining us here this evening. Again, don't forget tomorrow night, we have the Siyam, Mincha at 7:35, followed by Mishnah Yomis, followed by Mariv, followed by for the Daf, which is not a long Daf, and then followed by the Gala Siyam, and the person that comes from the longest has to speak, Mark. That's why Yisrael Fisher is going to come from Tannersville and beat us all. Okay, so we are dedicated by A.B. Spry with the tefillah that children should get into yeshiva pleasantly without any more heartache for their parents. By Baruch Ian Lilinish Esther Bas Yoni Yaakov Chaim Ben Abba Abram Ben Shmuel HaKoyin, for my shver who is now in South Florida, ready to take experimental treatment, which is going to take 3 days. So we wish Avigdor Aryeh Ben Rivka, Refuah Shalema B'Sech Shechad Yisrael. And we learn for my Talmud B'Tzal Klein's father, Meir Ben Chayesara, that he should have a Refuah Shalema B'Sech Shechad Yisrael, and also for Marshall's brother, Mordechai ben Sarah Yehudis, he should have a refuah shalema. Marshall told me he spoke with him and he sounded a little better. That was good news. We are holding on the bottom of Daf Pei Ches Amud Beis by the new Mishnah. And tonight's Daf, as we welcome in Sandy Grunfeld and we welcome in Abe Arbach, tonight's Daf is all about rumors. You know rumors. People like to talk. So, Yotza Shma Be'ir Mikudeshes. If there goes out a reputation, a rumor about her, that today, this is very important because we're going to see differently later, that today she was betrothed. Harizu Mikudeshes. So then she's Mikudeshes. Migureshes, if there is a report that she's divorced, Harizu Migureshes. Now this can't be taken literally because we know that there's no Kol Achar Nisuin. We don't dismantle a marriage because of a rumor. Rather, the pshat in this is going to be in the Gemara if the Kol went out that she was betrothed and divorced. So then it's Kol V'Shovrei Imai. It's a Kol with its foil, with its, so to speak, receipt. So we believe both, and we believe that she's divorced. Harizu Megureshes. Ubelvad, when do we say that if there is a rumor that she was betrothed today, we believe it? Ubelvad shelo yeh shama masla, where there was no mitigating circumstances. Ezu Yamasla. Girish ish plinius ishtai, so-and-so divorced his wife out tonight on a condition. Oh, on a condition? So maybe the condition wasn't met. Or Zorak la kiddusha, Safik karav la, Safik karav lai. The condition was thrown and we're not sure if it was closer to him or closer to her. So there's a reason to believe that she's not Mekudeshes. Zui Amasa. That's mitigating circumstances. Says the Gemara, if she was married and a rumor goes out that she was divorced, and let's say the husband was a Kayin, so we asked her on her husband, Vasrin la Gavra, we asked her on her husband, V'amar Ravashi kol kola debas in the suit, like Haishinot. We don't pay attention to a rumor when it would dismantle a marriage. Says the Gemara, you're right. Hachi Kamer. Yotza Shma Be'ir Mikudeshes, Harizu Mikudeshes. If there goes out a girl that she was betrothed today, we assume she's betrothed. Mikudeshes and Megureshes. Today she was betrothed and divorced. So then, since they're both rumor, Harizu Megureshes, my timer, Kel Vishay Rayimai. It's a rumor with its own foil, with its own, so to speak, receipt. So if we believe the rumor that she was Mikudeshes, we believe the rumor that she was also divorced. Amar Rava, 2 lines from the top of Daf Peites Amar Aleph, Mamish, at the very, very end of Masechtas Gittin. Amar Rava, Yotzala Shem Mezana Be'ir. If there goes out a rumor that she had an affair with a guy or an Evet Kanani. It's not just a rumor that she had an affair with a pnuya, a pani. That wouldn't disqualify her from kahuna. But affair with an evet or a guy would disqualify her from kahuna. Ein chayshishin la. We're not concerned about it. Why? Because we say they didn't see, most people, they don't actually sleep in front of people. So it means just that they saw them necking in the woods, they saw them kissing, they saw them hugging, they saw him fondling her in private places. So the Gemara says, why? Because my time a priptsusa ba'almahu dechazu. We assume that they just saw some immorality, some act of immorality, like Rashi says, miach lo bein dadea, and they drew conclusions from that. So we don't pay attention to it. Now this is not universal. Rather ketanoi, this is a machloikis tanoim. Achla b'shuk, if she ate in public. Now in those days, people of refinement would not feed their face in public. Animals feed their face in public. People of refinement don't feed their face in public. I told you recently there was a front cover story, I think it was 2 Shabbosos ago. There was a front cover story in the Ami of my first cousin, Rebbe Weiss. Rebbe Weiss was the son-in-law of the Klozemeger Rebbe, and he was telling things over about his father-in-law. It's very interesting. If you read the article, he said that in his tzavah, the Klozemeger Rebbe left instructions that his son-in-laws should finish Shas every 6 months. So they asked my cousin, what did the Rebbe tell his sons? That's what he told his son-in-laws. What did he tell his sons? So my cousin said he wasn't privy to that. That part of the tzavah he didn't see. He wasn't privy what he told the sons. But his son-in-laws, you have to understand that in order to marry the Rebbe's daughter, you had to know Shas Bal Peh. That was a prerequisite. The Rebbe said that he was looking for Yichas Torah. So I remember that there was scheduled a Tnoyim for my cousin, and the Rebbe fahered him on Shas, and the Tnoyim was postponed for 2 weeks, because the Rebbe said he wants to faher him again on 200 blot. 200 blot, he wanted to faher him again. So they postponed the Tnoyim for 2 weeks, and he fahered him again on 200 blot. My cousin is a Gaon. They brought down in the article that Rav Yoshev referred to my cousin as a Sarah Torah. My cousin not only knows Shas Bal Peh, he knows Rashba Bal Peh. How many people do you know that know the whole Rashba inside? He knows Rashba Bal Peh. Anyway, so his wife, the Rebbe's daughter, her name is Mindy. Now it's Rebbetzin Mindy, but I know them. It's my cousins. So I was in a taxi, together with Rebbetzin Mindy and her little baby daughter. This is over 30 years ago. And the little daughter, maybe she was 5, maybe 6, asked her mother, Megmin Essen in a taxi? Can we eat in a taxi? She wanted to know if that was considered eating in the shuk. Can we eat in a taxi? So people of refinement, they don't eat in public. So the Gemara says, if somebody ate in the market, or girgara b'shuk, or walked with a outstretched head in an arrogant way, or heinika b'shuk, or nursed their child on a bench in public. Bikulan Reb Meir Aimer Teitze. Reb Meir says such a woman has to leave her husband, because we assume that such a woman, because of her immoral behavior, probably committed snus under her husband. And the husband is not allowed to live with a woman that commits adultery. Rabbi Kiva Aimer Mishiyisu v'yitnu ba moizrais bilavana. When the women that sit outside on beach chairs and spin, they used to spin by the light of the moon, when they're gossiping about her, that she's a woman of the night, then her husband has to send her away. Amalei Rabbi Yochanan Nuri says, no, sorry, that's not enough. If the gossipers gossip about somebody, nobody will be able to stay with their husband. It says if you find a matter of nakedness, and we learn how to lahalon noimer al pi shnayim edim al pi shloisha edim yakum davar. With 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses, davar is established. So malahalon davar bar, just like over there, it's with the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. Afkan davar bar. The only time we'll send a woman away from her husband is if there's solid testimony. Tan Rabbanan, be'ula ein chayshishin la. If a rumor goes around that she's not a virgin, we don't pay attention to such a rumor, and she could even marry a Kohen Gadol, who was only allowed to marry a Basula. She could even marry, because again, we say that they only drew a conclusion from some promiscuous behavior. Nesua ein chayshishin la. If they say that she was married, now remember I told you, when we said Mekudeshes in the Mishnah, that's only if they say Mekudeshes today. But Nesuah, if they say she was, we assume she's unmarried, and a rumor goes around that she was married a while ago. We're not worried about that. Aru saying if they say that she was engaged a while ago, while she's walking around like a regular unmarried girl, we don't pay attention. Shaloi leploini. Even if a rumor goes around that she was engaged, but it doesn't say to who, engaged today, but it doesn't say to who, then we don't pay attention. Piracheres, if she's here, and a rumor circulates that she got engaged in another town, we don't pay attention. Says the Gemara, Mamzeres ain't chayshima. If they say a girl that till now was known as a kosher girl, they claim she was a mamzeres from an adulterous union, we don't believe it. If we say that she's really a slave, we don't pay attention. Now here's another 2 halachas. Hiktish ploini nechasav. So-and-so dedicated all his nechasim to hektish. So you can't benefit. You can't borrow his tennis racket or pickleball racket because he dedicated everything to hektish. Or hifker ploini nechasav. Or so-and-so renounced all his property so you could come and take it. Sorry, we don't pay attention to that. In Kaishan land, it's a davar shebamammon, you need to have 2 witnesses. Amarula, when our Mishnah says that if they say she was Mekudeshes today, we pay attention, Lo yeshamu kol havara. It's not just simple gossip. It has to be based upon circumstantial evidence. There's festive lights lit, and couches set by the caterer. And people are coming in and out. That so-and-so got engaged today. Oh, that's enough. Now, miskadeshes means that so-and-so will become betrothed today. That's not enough. Miskadeshes, maybe it never happened. Ema says the Gemara, but rather what they said is ploinis niskachayim. She got engaged today. Today is the lachayim. V'chein Tony Levi also says, lo she yishmu kol avora. It's not enough a mere echo, a mere rumor. There has to be something substantial. Yishmu, Neiros, Dolkais, festive lights lit, Umitos, Mitzos, and couches set, Venoshim Tovas Laraner, women are spinning by the light of the candlelight, Usmechasla, and they're rejoicing with her. Vaimis plainly Miskadeshes, she's getting engaged today. Getting engaged is not enough, Miskadeshes, Vidilma Layekacha. Amra Papa Ema plainly Niskachayim, she got engaged today. L'chayim. One more version. I made a bracha already, Rabbi say. Good to have Sandy Grunfeld joining us today. Dr. Eisenberg, it's great to have you. Dr. Eisenberg, tomorrow is the Siyam, and Tuesday we start Masechtas Kedushin. We really love to have everybody. So Amar Rabba Babachana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Lo yeshamu kol havara. It's not simply a rumor. Ela kadei sheyoneiros dolkos, candles lit, mitas mitzayis, and couches set out. Of the adam nichmasim v'yotzin. Amru davar. If they said that so and so was b'kadeshes, zo kol. Lo amru davar. But if they didn't say anything, Zeu amasla, that's a mitigating circumstances. Says the Gemara, that's not a mitigating circumstance. They just didn't say anything. Lo yamru, well lo yamru v'lo klum. They didn't say anything. That's not a mitigating circumstance. They didn't say anything. Says the Gemara, la'afuke midrabba barafuna. The amr amasla she'amru, the amasla, the mitigating circumstances, even if they say the mitigating circumstance 10 days later. Afilu mikan vad yud yom. Kamash malan lo yamru. If they didn't say something without a mitigating circumstance, they said it with a condition. That's who dahav yamasa. Ha amru. But if they did say now that she was engaged today, and then the amasla surfaced 10 days later, that doesn't count. Then lo yahavi amasla. That's not an amasla. Amar Rabbi Abba, Amar Rav Huna, Amar Rav. Rabbi Abba says the name Rav Huna, Amar Rav. Lo yeshamu kol havara. It's not just gossip. Ela kidei sheyomru, they have to say ploini mehechon shama. So and so, where did he hear it from? Miploini, from so and so. Or ploini miploini. Or boitkin v'holchen, and they check it up ad shemegil ledavar abar, until they come to something definitive. Says the Gemara, well, if it's something definitive, that's not a rumor, then it's witnesses. Davar barer eidus mal yusahi. Rather, it means they check up the sources and they trace it back to having come from two people, but now they're overseas. It's not a mere gossip. Where did he hear it from? And the source, it couldn't be validated, it couldn't be inspected because they went overseas. So that's a rumor. Amalei Abaye of Yosef, Mivatlinan kala oiloi mivatlinan. Once there is an established rumor, do we negate it or don't we negate it? Amalei mida amar Rav Chisda ad sheyishmu mepiak sherim. Since Rav Chisda said, until we hear it from reliable people, so Shema Mina, from this we could conclude that mevatlinan kala, that we could negate a rumor. So the Gemara says, Amalei adrab, mida amarav sheishis afilu mepi nashim avekel, that the rumor which originates from women, it doesn't have to be heard from qualified witnesses. It could even be from a woman. Shema mina lo mevatlinan kala. We don't negate a rumor, because you see, we give such credence that we even accept it from a woman. So the Gemara says this is taka not. There's no uniformity to this. Amalei asravasa ninu. It depends on the locality. Besura mevatle kala. In surah we negate rumors. Benarda loy mevatle kala. Now we have to understand, why shouldn't we negate a rumor? If a rumor was proven to be false, why shouldn't we negate it? Why in Narda do we not negate a rumor? I think the reason is because we're afraid that then people will just not pay attention to rumors. So now the Gemara shows us some examples of this to put it into practical perspective. A woman, there was a rumor that she became betrothed to a yeshiva bach. Asi Rav Chama lavua. Rav Chama called her father. Amalei and asked the father of the girl, Amali heichi havayuvda. Tell me what happened. Amalei al Tanai Kaddish. They got engaged with a condition. Adaita deloyazal beichozai. It was on the condition that he doesn't go to beichozai, but at the end, he went to beichozai. So it never happened. Amalei. So he said, remember we said that an amasla is only if it's at the time of the rumor. Since at the time of the rumor this mitigating circumstance was not said, lav kol kaminach, it's not up to you, the machzakt amasla, that you should make it into a mitigating circumstance, and therefore it's a good rumor that they were engaged, and therefore, if she would not want to live with him, she would need a get. Another ma'isa. There was somebody that there was a rumor that she was mikudeshes with whatever this guy was a real cheapie. He was mikadesher with the refuse of dates. That means after they pressed the dates and got out all the liquid, the refuse of the date, he said, here, sweetie, hurry up mikadeshesly. Sholcha Rav Idi bar Oven lekame da Abaya. So Rav Idi bar Oven sent to Abaya, ki hai gavna mai. What's the situation in this case? So he says, well, if you could find that it's really not a reliable rumor, then you could be mavatal it even in Narda, in the city of Shmuel. Amalei afilu mandi amalei mavatlinan kala, baha mavatlinan kala. In such a case, we could negate the cow, because people will say, oh, they looked into it, and the refuse of the date was less than a shava pruta. Meimer Ainu B'Rabbanan B'Kiddusha V'lo Hava Bo Shava Pruta. The refuse of the date was not a Shava Pruta. Another case. Haida Nofika Lakala the Kachel Lechad Mibnei Planya. A girl went out that she was Mikadeshes to one of the children of the Schwartzes. One of the Schwartz children. Amar Rav Afilu Amandi Amalei Mevatlina Kala. Even according to Nardah that we don't negate a rumor, Baham Mevatlina Kala. Why? Because we'll say, yeah, it was to one of the Schwartzes, but it was the child who wasn't bar mitzvah. And that's why they negated it. As we welcome in Harrison Kletzel joining us for our 25th Zoomer of the evening.
That's not an amasla?
What?
That's not an amasla?
No, that's not an amasla because there was no amasla at the beginning.
Right. Because there was no amasla at the beginning, but why we...
No, it's talking about where we found out that it's not true. So normally in a place where we found out it's not true, we're not mavatal it. But here we have an extra reason to be mavatal it because we know that there are a lot of young children there, so the people will assume, oh, it was true, but it was one of the younger children. Remember, the reason not to be mavatal kol is because we're afraid that people will not take rumors seriously. So if we have an extra reason not to believe a rumor, that's good. Now, Hahud nafika lakala the iktasha lekotten hanira kagadol. There was a girl that she got mekudeshes to a child that looked like an adult. So, Amalei Ramadcha the Ravashi, Have Yovda, there was such an incident. Va'amar adayin lo yagia lefalgus Ruvain. Now, falgus Ruvain is a borrowed phrase. You know, like we say that somebody who speaks in shul, Gadol Avoinoi Minasai. That's borrowed from Cain's sin. Gadol Avoinoi Minasai. So here, this is a borrowed phrase. This was actually a phrase that Devorah said when Shevet Ruvain did not join in the battle against Sisra. So she said, Falgus Ruvain, the fact that Ruvain stayed separate, Gedolim Chikrei Lev, really needs very great analysis that they made this poor move. But we learn out that from it, Gedolim, only adults, Chikrei Lev, have the maturity of heart. So therefore we say that this Kedushin is nothing. That it was a child that appeared like an adult. He didn't even reach Palgus Ruvain. He didn't reach the maturity. When it says the Falgus Ruvain, it means the end of that pasuk. That only Gedolim, only an adult, has the maturity. You wanted to ask me something, Berish? As long as there's no mitigating circumstances. The mitigating circumstance, this is different than we said earlier. Rabbi Barafuna says, the mitigating circumstances, even if it surfaces 10 days later. Rav Zvid says, if there is circumstances that point to an amasla, chayshishin la amasla. So then we could be concerned that there's an amasla. What does that mean? Eisvei Rapapa Rav Zvid, Ubavad Shalei Tehei Sham Amasla. It says as long as there's no amasla, that implies that there has to be an actual amasla, like a stipulation, not grounds for a masla. Amalei b'mokam amasla kama. Now, what does this mean? What does it mean, grounds for mitigating circumstances? So Amalei Rav Kahana Rav Papa. So Rav Kahana said to Rav Papa, V'atloi tizber, you don't hold that grounds for mitigating circumstances is enough? V'tanan niskacha, if she got engaged. Here, Chaya was married to Chaim. He went overseas, and she went ahead and married Ruvain. And then she didn't marry him with chuppah. She didn't sleep with him. She just got engaged to Ruvain. Muteres Laza. She's allowed to return to her first husband, Chaim. La mishum da amrinon al tnai kodesh. Isn't it because la mishum da amrinon al tnai kodesh? Isn't it because we say that it must be that she got engaged to Ruvain on the condition that her husband was dead? And now that the husband is alive, so that kedushin is nothing. So now, there wasn't an amas. We don't know about a stipulation, but that's a mokam amasla. We assume that there's a stipulation. Says Shani Hasam, it's different over there. The Asi Baal the Kamara. The husband came and said, "Look, I never divorced her. There's no way that that she could get married. Everybody will know that he didn't divorce her. She thought he died." Says the Gemara, Ihachi, if that's the case, then why can't she go back to him even if she married? Nisis Nami, even if she married, why can't she go back to the first husband? Says the Gemara, Nisis of the Isura, where she did an Isur because she was a married woman and slept with another man while she's married. So Kansur Rabban consent her that she can't go back to the first husband. Niskacha, the lawyer of the Isur, she didn't do an Isur, like Kansur Rabban. Amar Ravashi, Kol Kala Deloy is Chazek Bebei Dina. Any rumor that wasn't sanctioned by the court, Lav Kala, is not yet considered a rumor. V'amar Ravashi, and this is a very important law, Kol Kala Debasu Nisuin, any rumor that comes after a marriage, a rumor can't dismantle a marriage. We don't pay any attention to such a rumor. The Gemara says, what about a rumor that comes after an engagement? Rav Chaviv, no, even after an engagement. Even if it comes after an engagement, we don't pay attention. By the way, there's a lot of details on this stuff. Mamish, it's till the end of this Masechta. It just keeps on going. So much information. I mean, I hope you're taking notes.
What does it mean we don't pay attention?
We don't allow mere gossip without two witnesses to dismantle a marriage. Now, before we're getting close to finishing the daf, so before we finish, I just want to make sure that everybody knows the schedule tomorrow. I'm just curious, is the Olam finding 8:15 very hard?
That's Rabbi. Because my name in my Ma'ariv starts that. I just came in now from my...
No problem. 8:15 is very hard.
But I could come in late. I mean, For me, you don't have to do it, but I'm just saying, for me, it's hard.
We're going to make start time tomorrow night, 8:25. 8:25. 8:25 tomorrow. We'll send out information to that fact. Irving, could you put it on the chat? 8:25 this week? 8:25. I think I saw that at 8:15 we only had 11 people here tonight. Okay. I think you had in the schedule a later time anyway, right?
Could be.
Yeah, I think so. For during the week, yeah. For the DAF. What did you have on the schedule?
8:30.
8:30. Okay, 8:25. 8:20. This way, if I say 8:25, we have a chance of starting 8:30. And this way, Bruce could be finished Kinyan Masechta, and he could join us and everything. Now, Amar Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba, Sholchu mi bei Rav l'Shmuel. They sent from the academy of Rav to Shmuel. Yalamdeinu Rabbeinu, teach us our master. Yotza aleha kel merishin. If there goes out a rumor that she was engaged to Ruvain, uba achar v'kitcha kiddushay Torah, and then Shimon gives her a pruta and is mekadosh her, mao. Shalach lu, so Shmuel sent to them teitzei. Well, she has to leave Shimon because there's a rumor that she was engaged to Chaim. Ve'amidu adavar al burya, and then inspect the matter, v'idiyuni, and let me know. So the Gemara says, what did Shmuel mean, inspect the matter? Mai vehimidu adavar al burya. Ilema di'i megalia milsa de kedushe de kamalav kedushe malyaninu. If we do an inspection and we find out the kedushin to Chaim, the first kedushin, was not true, mebatlin on kala, we negate the rumor, but it's the place of Shmuel. V'nardo asrei de Shmuelu v'loy mevatlei kala. They don't negate a rumor. Ella di'i megalia milsa de kedushe kama kedushe ma'alyaninu. If you come with proof positive that the Kedushin to Chaim, the first husband, was a good Kedushin, then she doesn't need a get from the second husband. She doesn't need a get from Shimon. Lo yitzricha get misheni. However, a pligid Rav Huna, this is not like Rav Huna. Da'amar Rav Huna, eishes isha pashta yada v'kibla Kedushin me'achar. A married woman that accepts Kedushin from another man, Mikudeshes. She's Mikudeshes. Why? Rav Amnuna. The Amr Rav Amnuna, Isha she'amr lebala gerashtani, a woman that says to her husband, you divorced me, she's believed. Nemenis. Chazaka ain't Isha me'iza panel b'fnei baila. A woman wouldn't be brazen to say to her husband that he divorced her if he didn't divorce her. So here, a woman wouldn't be brazen to accept Kedushin from another man unless her first husband divorced her. V'idach. But Shmuel doesn't hold that way. Because Kiyat Madarav Amnuna b'fanav, when she says it to the face of her husband, Shaloi b'fanav, but not in the face of her husband, Me'iza, she could be very chutzpahdik, and you don't have the Anan Sadeh that she's telling the truth. What if we don't corroborate that she was married to the first husband, to Chaim? Does she need a get from Shimon? Amar Rav Huna, Migoreish Rishon, she should divorce the first husband, Chaim, V'noisei Sheni, and she could marry Shimon. Aval Migoreish Sheni V'noisei Rishon loy. But to divorce Shimon and marry the first husband, Chaim not. Why? Because it looks like it's a Mauza Grushasa La'achar Shin Nisarsa. Because then it looks like that she was married to Chaim, got divorced, then got engaged to Shimon, got divorced, and went back to Chaim. That's not allowed. Aval Megor Sheni V'Nois Rishon Loi, my time. Because Asi Lamemer, people will say, Mauza Grushasa Minaherisim. It's taking back a divorcee after she got engaged to Shimon. However, Rav Shinna Berei Rav Idi Amar, Af Megare Sheni V'Nois Rishon. We even allow her to get a divorce from the second one, Shimon, and marry Chaim. Because Meimer Emre, people will say, Aine Rabbanan b'Kiddushay. The Rabbanan were ma'ayin in the Kiddushin of the second husband, and the Kiddushay Torah Savi. It was a mistake in Kiddushin, because she was really married to the first one, and therefore she could go back. Yotza aleh kel mizeh u'mizeh. If a girl went out that she was engaged first to Chaim and then to Shimon, and there are no witnesses for either of them, Mao. Amar Papa Abzu, in this case also, Megaresh Rishon, she should get a divorce from the first husband, V'noisei Sheni. However, Ameimer says no. In this case where it's both rumors, we're not worried that people will say that's Machzor Gushas L'Achar Nisarsa. Here it's both rumors. Muteres L'Shneim. She's mutter to either of them. Either she gets a divorce from Chaim and stays with Shimon, or gets a divorce from Shimon and could go to Chaim. And that's indeed the halacha. V'hilchasa muteres L'Shneim. Now, Rabbi say, again, I want to invite everybody to the Siyum tomorrow night. Coming to a Siyum is a very big thing because it's mechazik all the loimdim. So anybody who could come should please try to come. Also, we want you to be an ambassador to get people to start with us Kiddushin. So 8:25 Kiddushin Tuesday night, Kiddushin Daf Beis. Also, anybody who wants to sponsor this week's Chumash here, somebody out there in the wild blue yonder of Kol Lashon or TorahAnytime.com or Facebook or YouTube, 718-916-3100, RMMWSI at AOL.com. We will now learn the Mishnah Yomis.